Hello, Alicia. As a last resort, I'm going to make a video for you. I hope it doesn't confuse you, but I'm going to get on the GeoCities server. It might be helpful if you feel comfortable after watching this for you to give me your user ID. Well, I've got that for the domain name, but you're also your password to GeoCities. And perhaps I can do another video where I actually get on your server and maybe show you why I don't think we can see your websites. Now, it looks like you have been able to upload files to GeoCities from judging from your email. So I will go back and revise the grade for 2.3. So don't worry about that. Just remind me to make the change if you don't see it happen in the next day or two. But anyway, okay, here goes with the video. I'm going to show you what I see when I go to the URL that you provided. Alicia, this is your submission from way back the 11th. So you really are fairly advanced. Now I see your screenshots. Well, we'll get to these later. This is ample evidence that you are aware of browser testing, and it checked out your page here. But is it really your page? We'll get to that. Checks out in all these browser versions of browsers. So good job with that. That's once you get it mounted in your GeoCities account, then run that again. But you have ample browser settings. Now, when I click on the URL that you gave me, here's what I see. Here. Okay, so here's what I see. Let me just move this down here. And this is what I mean by GeoCities default index.html, because even if I key in index.html after the address, I get the same page. Now I want to show you something kind of interesting. I'm going to use the browser Safari. Now look, up here in the URL, I've got your name, aliciameyer.index.html. The default GeoCities page, they have to put something. When you create an account with GeoCities, they have to put a placeholder. It's assumed that you're going to replace their index.html with your own. Okay. Now, you're going to have several index.htmls, right? Because you're building progressively a website, and every week your index.html page is going to be changing as you add new features to it. So you're going to probably want to overwrite this. This is the first file you see in your directory. This is called your root directory, your Alicia Meyer, and within there is a file called index.html. It's GeoCities welcome. Okay, they have to put a file in there for a placeholder. Now, if I put, you said that you had made a GRA 310 folder. So that's a good start. That's a good place to put your index.html. But when I go to it, it says the page is not found. Perhaps you called it something else. Let me go back to your web. Alicia, were you able to get on your GeoCities server and create a folder? It says that page doesn't exist. Well, no matter. Let's go to my GeoCities account. Now, I believe you've got this far. You signed up for a Homesteader account, I'm assuming, or I hope you're not paying money for anything. And so you are now a member. You'll go to your members dialog box. You'll key in your username. In my case, it's Frank Tierney. You'll use your password. Now, consider this. Consider giving me your user ID, or maybe I've asked you this, and password, so I can maybe make another video moving around on your server. But at any rate, I believe my password is this. So hopefully that works. Oh, nope. Okay, so anyway, you come to this dialog box. Here's the best way, I think, to move files on and off GeoCities, and that is to use their file manager. Now, I've already placed some things on my GeoCities account, so I can't quite recreate your experience, I guess. But if you double-click on that, I talked to you about this dialog box. Now, when I first created this GeoCities account, there was that default index.html. I have since gotten rid of it, and instead I created a directory right out of the box for GRA 310. And how I did that is I went up here new directory. I named it something. I'm just going to call it B because I already have one. And well, I'll just do it again. And you can create as many directories as you need to. Okay, then there's this green check mark. It's not, terribly intuitive. That is to signify that you want to do this. And it says could not create a new one because I've already gone in there. So let me rename it something else. Let's just call it B. There we go. Check on this. Okay. So GRE 310B was successfully created. All right, so I guess you have to get rid of them before you rename them, or you can't really replace them. I hope that makes sense. Now, so I created this directory or folder, if you will. I'm going to put index.html in it, an index.html file. And so I'm going to double click on it. That means I've entered that folder. And I'm going to upload my index.html that I've been working on. So I'm going to choose File, and then my desktop on my computer should come up. So I found another student's index.html from this week, which should show you some things. So I'm going to select that for upload. Now, I'm on a Macintosh. I hope that doesn't confuse you. I've chosen that, so I've uploaded index.html and hit the check mark to that directory that I created. Okay, that's all I'm going to upload for now, so I'm going to go back out. And when I look in that folder or directory that I created, there's index.html. Now when I open it, you can just go ahead and preview it. Oops. Now, Lisa, up here in the address bar, here's the URL. So geocities.ws, my name. I have a GRA310B folder, and then I placed the index.html in it. And here's what it should look like. Okay, and this should be your file structure. So, replace any default index.htmls that GeoCities places in this initial directory, I guess, or get rid of it, or make sure that you have an index.html in the GRA310 directory. That's your own. Well, let's take a look at this. In Safari, I can move this up here just briefly. In Safari, at least, and most browsers have this capacity. If you go up to under Develop, and then scroll down to Show Page Source, that means show the code behind the page. And let me move this back down. What it does is it splits the window. So here's the preview and here's the code. And this is a browser. Some of them will do it differently, but the nice thing about Safari is that I can see my code and live preview it. So here is the student's code. He's got a head. He started to style things. He's got a background color here. Now, I know I probably put this in your feedback from last week, but down here, there's a script that GeoCities places, another thing, by default. Don't get paranoid about this because it makes your pages visible. Essentially, there has to be some of this information on there, on these servers. And he's done some styling. H2 is a head style. It's a little larger. This is probably H1. This is probably H2. This perhaps is H3. He's used the corporate colors. He's figured out how to do that. Very simple. And this is also something that GeoCities puts by default on your pages. This is a meta comment. That is, it can't be viewed by the viewer. I hope this helps. I think I could do another video if I had your information. You may not feel comfortable about this. Let me know if this satisfies any of your questions, and we'll go from there.